Hello everybody and welcome back to Robert's Reviews. Today we're going to be talking about the sequel to the one that I did yesterday, Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. Home Alone 2 was made in 1992, it was directed by Chris Columbus and written by John Hughes, the same team that did yesterday's video of Home Alone. Now, I'm going to be a little bit more critical about this movie, and here's why. So for those of you who don't know what Home Alone 2 is, I'll give you a brief synopsis. Essentially, Kevin separates from his family at the airport and then goes to New York instead of going to Florida with the rest of his family. And then he's in New York, and he's alone, and he's lost. And then he has to fight off the same exact bandits in the same exact way as he did in the previous movie. As you can see, the synopsises between the two movies are extremely similar. I should crack my back really hard. That hurt really bad. Oof. Wow. Ooh, I don't know if you heard that. That was good. Anyway. So, essentially, my issue with this movie, in general as a whole, before we even talk about the actor or anything like that, the main issue is that it's way too similar to the first one. Okay. I understand that's kind of the point of the two movies, that they're kind of similar and funny in that kind of way, but they did not need to be that similar. They were so similar to the fact that we even had How the Grinch Stole Christmas popped up in there. It's a Wonderful Life popped up in there. The same two sequences popped up. And in the same kind of way too. And it really did kind of feel like a remake, which is a really big problem for me. I liked it. Don't get me wrong. I enjoyed it. However, I feel like we really didn't need a second one. My back. I'm pretty sure they made a lot of money off of this. And good for them. But I don't really need a second one, particularly if it's going to be this similar to the first one. But the first one was phenomenal, so it's kind of a balance between, can they really make more money off of another one, or is it really that good? Speaking of which, there's 5 Home Alone movies? I only knew about the 3, and the third one barely counts for me because it doesn't have Macaulay Culkin in it, which I will eventually review all of them, probably. Next Christmas or something. Maybe I'll do the rest of them next Christmas. But if that's what you want, drop it down in the comments below. Leave me a like, whatever you'd like to do. But without any further ado, let's talk about the acting real quick, and then I'll talk a little bit more about the movie as a whole, and then I'll give you my final rating. We'll wrap it up for the day. Again, hopefully a little shorter because I am tired and my throat kind of hurts from talking. First of all, again, Macaulay Culkin is Kevin. So Kevin's kind of grown a little bit between the two movies. He's gotten a little older, a year older, and he's a little bit more responsible. But the issue is that we have the same exact character arc in both movies. You would think that because of the movie, because of what happened in the first movie, he would have gotten more responsible in between the movies, right? Because he had saved, his house in the first movie, you think he would start off responsible in this one. But he doesn't. He actually reverts back a little bit, and he becomes worse. In the beginning of the movie, he kind of causes a fight. To be fair, I'm on his side for this one. He should have punched him, but still. He starts a fight, and that's not the Kevin we should have seen at the beginning of the movie. Excuse me. We should have seen a Kevin that's more responsible than he was in the beginning of the first movie, because that's the whole point, right? Is he's supposed to have a change. The whole point of Home Alone 1 is we can see the change between Kevin in the beginning and Kevin in the end after he's home alone. Which, to a certain extent, you do see that. Until the beginning of this movie, where he kind of reverts back to his old self. And then he becomes on his own again, and he becomes way more responsible again. It's why can't he be responsible when he's not by himself? So that kind of threw me for a little bit of a loop there, and it kind of confused me. It never did confuse me, but I never watched them both right next to each other like I did the past couple days. So it kind of caught me off guard a little bit. Because if you want to follow a character arc, it can't be like a sine curve. It can't go back. It can't be a full circle. It's got to be an arc, right? There has to be change in the character. And I don't want the same exact change to happen in both movies. There should be a different kind of change. They should have written it in a way where something different happened that changed him in a different way. Just a thought. Joe Pesci is Harry again, and I'll also mention Daniel Stern as Marv, and we'll talk about them both combined here. So, Harry and Marv broke out of jail from last time when they got caught as the Wet Bandits, and then they broke out of jail and became the Sticky Bandits. So they moved to New York, and they're going to start stealing from there because it's a lot easier, and there's more houses and more poor people, so they can steal from there pretty easily. So they think. Then they run into Kevin again, and they try to kill him, and he's like, no, you're not going to kill me, blah, 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 blah. And then this whole exhausting charade happens again where, he runs to the house, and there's a house there that he finds that is his uncle's house or whatever. And it's kind of confusing how it all happens, and honestly, it doesn't really make sense. In the first movie, I can kind of see how the injuries wouldn't have killed him. But from the start, fucking Kevin's throwing bricks at these people. Like, they should die pretty damn instantly from that high up. And then there's the electrocution, and, a lot of bad things happen in this one. The paint cans, the weird giant, cannon. I don't understand how they didn't die from any of this. Falling from the rooftop, from the fiery rope. I don't understand. That kind of bothered me a little bit because they should have just died, but they didn't die. Other than that, hilarious. I liked watching it. Don't get me wrong. They're funny. They're so entertaining to watch. But I think that they should be careful with the continuity of the fact that they would have died. They should have maybe toned down the traps a little bit to make it A, more reasonable, and B, make it more understanding that okay, this could totally happen. Also, fun fact, so Kevin had not been in the house before he had started to plan, but he already had a plan already written out. So that would have meant that he would have required to know what was in the house, all around the house. But it makes him, you see the plan before you see him looking around the house for stuff. So I feel like they should have reversed those shots and maybe made it a little bit more interesting of setting the traps there. Tim Curry, a new actor to the Home Alone scene. Tim Curry is fantastic in everything he's in, obviously. Tim Curry's phenomenal. But in this movie, I think that he might have been a little bit of a waste. He didn't get enough screen time, in my opinion. He was hilarious, especially in the scene where, he rushed in with all his people, and they're all standing there, and he's, got to get on his knees and say, I love you. It's funny. He's hilarious. But I think we could have used a little bit more Tim Curry. If you're going to put Tim Curry in a movie, make him a star. He's hilarious. He's funny. I would have almost appreciated it more if we had Tim Curry as the bad guy instead of Harry and Marv. We could have seen his character be, the bad guys of the scene, but we didn't get to see that, unfortunately. It's quite unfortunate. Rob Schneider, I wanted to mention that he was in the film, and he was Tim Curry's buddy, and he was kind of funny. Not as funny as Tim Curry, but nobody's as funny as Tim Curry, so. But I wanted to mention he was in there. So with all these things in mind, I can't in good conscience give us an A+. Now, in terms of viewing experience, this is hilarious, a fun movie. If I had to choose one, I probably would stick with the first one for a couple reasons. For one, it's shorter, and for two, the story just feels better and more real. Because in the second one, it just didn't feel like any of the things that happened would actually happen. So it kind of felt disconnected from reality in that way, which kind of sucked. But that's just a me opinion, maybe. You're welcome to have your opinion. If you have your own opinion on your Home Alone preferences, drop in the comments down below. Start a Facebook chain, whatever you want to do, and I love participating. If you comment on any of my videos, you can go back and see I've commented on almost all of them, and I will continue to do that for as long as I can, unless the comments get out of hand, which I hope they kind of get out of hand. That'd be kind of cool. But, yeah, I think it's going to wrap it up for today. I'm going to give it an A-. An A-, not an A+, not an A, but an A-. I gave it 2 points off for a variety of reasons that I've already discussed. This is the time of year. We're about a year away from Christmas. If you have any more reviews, any more requests, drop it in the comments down below, please, and I'll add it to my sticky notes list here. Boop, boop. I've already got a calendar started. My Robert's Reviews calendar. If you haven't seen this before, it's pretty freaking cool. I've got posters from all the stuff that I've done this year. But I've already got January all figured out. Hopefully you can't see what reviews they are, because some of them are going to be kind of a secret. But I've got a lot of really nice stuff coming out in January. And I want to see if you guys want to give me more reviews, because I've got a lot of stuff that I want to review, and I'm just going to keep adding them to the list. And I love your guys' requests. They're all on there. I'm getting through most of them. I think we'll be done with all the requests that we have available for us by the end of February, probably. So send in more, drop them in the comments down below, start a Facebook chain, message me, whatever you have to do, and I will add it to the list. All right? But with that, that's all I really have for you today. Make sure you subscribe. Most people watch my videos are not subscribed, and it makes me very sad. So make sure you do that. Keep watching films and movies, and as always, stay educated, and I'll see you guys in the next video.